And that is the closest I will ever come to feeling like I'm defusing a bomb. I don't just have John McClane's silhouette, I have his skill set. Hello, world. It's your boy, Joel Walkowski, the Detroit Lions fan, the dipshit on the street. I appreciate all your kind comments about the videos, and we are having a fireside chat about all things NBA. It's a crazy NBA day. NBA Reddit crashed, which is very convenient because I've got some parties to go to. What am I going to look at? And to talk me through all that is one of the most hilarious guys on Twitter, one of the best comedy basketball players around. And by the way, quick note, let me know if I'm too quiet. Say hello to the Bay Area thriller, Yang Time, Dan Yang.
Hell yeah. Thanks for having me. The Bay Area thriller. I'll take it.
Yeah, I mean, I assume Mr. Fab is dead, so you get that nickname now.
Oh, man. I forget it's him or I think Keek the Sneak is in a wheelchair, but they're all kind of part of the same entity in my head.
Yeah. Did you ever ghost ride a whip? I think that's what the people here want to know.
I did it in the most suburban way possible, which we just put our car in neutral as it sort of glided. You know, we did it responsibly.
Okay, so that's like the bitch-ass way to do it. I've done that myself. It would be funny. I know it was tragic when Jason Williams crashed his motorcycle, but imagine like his career ended because he ghost rode the whip.
That actually would have been way cooler, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I know Mr. Fab. I wanted to impress him. His music was cool. What can you do? But I had to throw away my whole episode here. I was ready to praise Kevin Durant. I was going to say he's no longer on a super team. Tonight at Barclays, I ponied up my hard-earned money working for a cannabis startup to buy good tickets to see this. And this guy, this snake, he's having Harden play? What's up with that, Dan?
I don't know, man. I just know that all the money I won last year on the bubble, I have already lost, I think, just on this Nets series. And I think mostly on Game 4. Because, the Kyrie happened, and then when the Nets were down, I put down a live game because I thought, okay, KD looks a little upset. Maybe he's going to, put up or shut up, and he definitely did not put up. He wasn't really getting calls, but I keep thinking, Kobe or someone similar would have found a way to at least keep it close, at least cover the +8 live bet that I had.
Yeah, at least cover for Dan. He's throwing out big here. We're putting all our money out on the table, and I get Harden's coming back. I get that they're afraid of the Bucks and they haven't played a lot together, but shouldn't KD be like a good friend here? Like, hey, I came back too early. It didn't work out for me. I lost a year and plus of my career and my team lost the series. Maybe you want to wait a game, James?
Yeah, is he back? I just saw that he was listed as a doubtful, which that's what I say when I know I'm not going to go somewhere.
I think he's playing. I think he's going to really throw caution into the wind, and it's a pretty irresponsible decision. And I can't believe they're this afraid of this Bucks team. I've watched this Bucks team. I know it's tied right now, but that team is terrible.
That's what I thought when I was betting on them. But then the last game, Drew Holiday looks like, in that game alone, looked like a top 5 guy. Middleton looked like a top 5 guy. PG Tucker looks like the best defender that's ever existed.
But that's the thing. It's like everyone talked themselves into these Nets role players. Oh, Mike James and Bruce Brown all season long. And once the stars went out, their usage rate got ratcheted up just a little bit. And they can't cut the mustard. They look like guys who should be playing in Europe. Mike James threw an alley-oop pass that would be out of place in our Saturday pickup game.
I know the exact play you're talking about because I was watching it develop, and it's like, okay, I know that if I was running this, I'd probably fuck it up. Luckily, we have an NBA player running it, and then I realized, oh, he was not an NBA player as of a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, the only way Blake Griffin is getting to that ball is if a Kia is standing under the basket. That was a 2012 alley-oop, and I'm so disappointed. I thought this was the biggest game of KD's career, and it's just like, oh, I've been defending this guy for 5 years. I'm the only one who likes KD. This is some snake behavior. I will admit that.
I'm a Warriors fan, and even when he was on our team, I was always kind of like, okay, I'll be cool with you because Steph likes you, but I don't know. It's like a friend of a friend situation.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say the worst sentence anyone's ever said. Michael Rappaport was right. I'm going to go get some Tribe Called Quest and really weird people out by being the first Irish black person, I guess. What up, Michael Rappaport? You're going to be in the house tonight. Are you excited for that?
Yeah, it's I got all caught up in the hype, and then I agreed to buy tickets the day of when we thought they're going to close out the series, Game 5, and all the injuries happened, and now all the tickets are like half price of what I bought them for. So I put down, as in true Dan Yang fashion, I put down a pretty good wager on the Nets money line. So if that hits, I will get my ticket price back and then some. And if it doesn't, I'll just go, jump off Barclays Center.
Yeah, and that's a nice park to walk through on your way to go off it. So any building with grass on the roof, that's a pretty messed up building.
Do they let anyone up there? That seems like a waste of park space in Brooklyn. Prime locale.
Yeah, I mean, if I just had a helicopter for one day, and I do have one available because Kobe's not using it anymore, but I would actually put a children's playground right at the top, and just so people could get the idea, oh, I can go up there.
Yeah, exactly. Also, I gotta say, I feel like Giannis. I saw a thing on Twitter that's like he's got no back, he's got no moves, and the more I thought about it, it's like true. I don't think Giannis is like a good basketball player.
No, he's like Russell Westbrook, but if he were 8 inches taller. I mean,
yeah,
he's the most efficient, dominant guy within 6 feet of the hoop, and they have him shooting 8 threes a game. I mean, the Bucks are getting the all-time pass here. They haven't looked good in a single game, and whatever is happening in the Eastern Conference, if the Nets don't get it together, I think we're looking at maybe just whoever's coming is limping into the finals.
Yeah, it's going to be one of those weird years where just anyone can take it.
Yeah, I mean, these are the things that needed to happen. The Phoenix Suns are getting luck for once in their life. Burn your Joe Harris jerseys. Everything is fucked up and weird in the Eastern Conference right now.
Yeah, but I mean, when you mentioned the Suns, they actually look good.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I wanted to show you this. Look at this, Dan. Okay. I'm going to bring up the screen share right here.
Damn,
you might know this. Okay, who's the stat line on the left? Who's the stat line on the right?
All right, well, I think I've seen this maybe on Reddit, or maybe I saw it in the group you posted on, but as of right now, this is too many numbers for me to process, especially when Air was recovering half of them.
Yeah, you did see the group. That's Mikal Bridges' first 3 years, Kawhi Leonard's first 3 years, and they're the same splits. Kawhi was maybe a year younger, but they both have freakishly long arms. The production's there, the three-point shooting's there, the defending's there. The Suns team's going to be around for 5 years.
I gotta see his hands before I make that call, but if his hands hold up, then I'm on board.
He doesn't have the hands, but he's got the longest arms in the NBA.
And that's really all basketball. That's what it boils down to.
Yeah, long arms, long hands. If you had Dr. Octopus, that's a first-round draft pick right there.
Or what's the was that stretchy toy?
Stretch Armstrong.
Yeah, Stretch Armstrong. There you go.
Guy from 127 Hours, not a first-round draft pick in the NBA. Captain Hook, undrafted free agent. The Griffin brother from the Seattle Seahawks. Yeah, he's still going to make the field.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the third Griffin brother, or the second Griffin brother, not Blake, but the shitty one.
Oh, yeah, Taylor Griffin, who's just he must just be walking around, skulking through Oklahoma. People going like, oh, are you Blake Griffin? He's like, nah.
Yeah, if I were him, you just got to get like super fat just to differentiate or something. Find your own lane.
Yeah, grow a mustache, get some surgery. Don't do stand-up comedy, which is good advice not only to Blake Griffin's brother, but any of you watching, anyone who are going to watch, don't do stand-up. It'll ruin your life. It'll enable you as an alcoholic, but you'll get to meet some good degenerates.
Well, I will say on that stand-up note, I actually forgot that I agreed to do a show right before the Nets game. So I live right by Barclays Center. I'm going to be taking a train up to Manhattan, doing probably 8 minutes of mediocre to, let's be honest, bad comedy, and then coming back, missing all the fun, first tip-off stuff. Oh, dang.
What's the show in Manhattan?
It's damn, now I don't want to throw it under the bus, but y'all can find it on my Instagram and shit. Should be fun. Normally I'd be excited to do it, but I got to watch KD, dog.
Yeah, you got to watch KD. You got to watch him trick James Harden into getting an injury when he should give him the wrong advice. And that's the kind of shitty part. It's like, This Nets team would have a shot at the title without Harden. If they had KD, Joe Harris, Jared Allen, Karis LeVert, I would die to watch that basketball team. That's all I want to see. And then it's just like, oh, cool. We have this Walmart-ass basketball team. Waltz into a title. They finally got punched in the mouth, except this Bucks team. You get them at the end of the game. They try and generate a look, and they are incredibly inept.
Also, that Harris, Allen, LeVert team you mentioned, that would be a much more lovable team.
Absolutely.
That's a team that I could get behind. It's not like super manufactured, especially from the LeVert, D'Angelo Russell Nets days. It's nice to have a couple of those holdovers. Also, speaking of that, people are forgetting about Dinwiddie. If he wasn't hurt, think of how he'd be.
Yeah, he's holding out until they agree to pay him in Bitcoin.
Oh yeah, that's a solid Brooklyn move right there.
True
Brooklyn dude.
Spencer Dinwiddie always has some shitty, lame PR story. I think he's the NBA's Chrissy Teigen.
I could see that. They'd probably get along.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I want to get paid in Bitcoin. The fans can pick my next team. He wrote a blog about his mustache his rookie year, and that was his biggest contribution to the NBA. Yeah, I mean, that could be a good idea for you. If you want to do a blog about your mustache, I'm sure all the people out here would love to experience that.
Now I feel like I have bad facial recognition, but now I'm thinking, and I think Spencer Dinwiddie kind of looks like John Legend.
Yeah, I think he does.
I mean, there might be something, Chrissy Teigen, take a look. What can I say?
Yeah, there's a lot more there. She'll be on Twitter on and off like 50 times in the next 2 weeks. So let's move out west. We're going to go to the tepid-ass Barclays Center, but there is a people's champ. People just love the Phoenix Suns, right? Whenever they're good, everyone just jumps on that bandwagon. Am I mistaken about this?
I think they're always a fun team, from like the Nash Stoudemire, even back to like the Charles Barkley team. That was fun. Now this team is fun.
Yeah, every generation of the NBA gives us one Suns team that's incredibly likable. You think they're going to win the title, and then they get some weirdness happening to them. I can't wait to see Chris Paul get run over by a Zamboni or Mikal Bridges.
If he gets hurt, like at some point, I think it's just sorry, it's not meant to be. Your dumb legs, man.
Yeah, the next Final Destination movie is going to be like Chris Paul trying to get to the finals and avoiding injury.
They can make that now. That Rockets team with him healthy, that could have been the one.
Yeah, and just speaking from the gambling perspective, like I woke up this morning, the Nets were getting 5.5 points, and it reminded me of when the Warriors went against the Rockets in that game. They're getting like 6 that day. I was like, oh, back the money line. Like I was able to get on the Nets like plus 165 this morning. So
nice.
Before they even forced Harden to deal with injuries.
Yo, we're in the same boat, man. We're in the same boat.
And that's the saddest thing about the Nets is that they've got 3 Hall of Famers, 4 if you count Blake, 6 if you count the coaching staff, and I still have to gamble on them to root for this team.
Yeah, well, they're going to have 1.5 at their disposal. I guess Blake, I don't know.
Yeah, the Nets are one of many of us being brought down by thick thighs this summer. Shout to Harden's hamstrings. Do you have any thoughts? Do you have any wagers, opinions on Jazz Clippers?
Man, well, I also lost a little money on the Jazz yesterday. The Clips, they're tough because they were always a good team. On paper, I know Joel's a big pro Clippers as not organization, but talent point of view, but they've always just underperformed, and now it's like maybe they're starting to figure it out and perform at what they're supposed to perform at. And especially without Mike Conley, the Jazz, I don't know if they can do it. I don't think Donovan Mitchell, he's great. I don't think he's as good as everyone is hyping him up to be. He can't be the one. He can't be like the only guy to take over the game, I think.
I'm kind of high on Mitchell. I do like Donovan. I think there's proprietary athleticism. His speed going to the basket's crazy. But I think the Jazz just fucked up their team building. I think they had a bad draw because when there's these perimeter scorers who are like big, who have footwork, who have skills, they're guarding those dudes with like Joe Ingles and Royce O'Neal who can't quite cut it. And the Clippers, they're so bad at team building, they accidentally have 2 of those guys, so they could do whatever they want against Utah.
Also, I guess basketball sometimes is so simple where it just comes down to the Jazz weren't hitting shots and the Clips were yesterday. And it's like sometimes you make shots, you miss shots, and you can do all the analysis you want. And it's like, is Marcus Morris going to just go off?
Yeah, and there's like a kind of Billy Beaning of the NBA right now that the Jazz do, that the Nets do. It's all predicated on true shooting thanks to your bitch-ass Warriors teams.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, oh, cool, we get to watch the 3-point competition every game in June. This is so fun.
Which is another reason the Suns have now kind of flipped it where they're fun, because Chris Paul is just like, I'm just going to shoot these little 16-footers, spin around a couple times, shoot them again.
And the Suns, they're just fun because they went against the Lakers, and this was a pretty detestable Lakers team. The Suns team isn't fun. They have great talent. They're just deliberately not fun. They play the slowest pace in the NBA. You want to make money, you bet the Suns under. Like, they've got this awesome athletic roster, and Chris Paul's going like, nah, we're playing half court. We're going slow, and we're shooting mid-range.
So you're high on Mitchell. If you had to rank, let's say, Mitchell in this, like right now, not like in the future, I'm saying right now, if you had to rank Mitchell, Kawhi, PG, and I would throw in a fourth, but they're going to be fourth anyway, the person I name.
So in the best players in that series,
yeah,
you got to go with Kawhi, and then you got to go with Donovan, because Donovan's got some pretty impressive playoff pelts hanging up. Like, he took down Harden, he took down Westbrook within his first 2 seasons in the league. Like, he's starting to get a big game resume, and like, honestly, like, it's all. I'm also high on Donovan as a reaction to like all these other guys who get like big game player hype. Luka Doncic, and like Donovan's done it multiple years. No one talks about him. He's not particularly marketable, and you only hear about him when he's telling Utah citizens, hey, that's racist. And they're going like, yeah, that is. But we like you as a basketball player.
I feel you. I think he just needs one extra guy. Like, even Kawhi by himself, I don't think could pull off, going all the way.
Yeah, and I think the Jazz can beat any team but the Clippers, to be honest with you. I just think their rosters, it doesn't align with the Clippers. You put them against the Nets, those teams play the same style. You put them against the Suns, it's going to be like the wings of the Suns are athletic versus the wings of the Jazz are 3-point shooters. 50-50 series right there. But the Clippers, they can just step on their throat every possession.
Yeah, well, if they choose to. I feel like there's a moment last night where the Clips kind of were becoming the Clippers again and let the Jazz almost back in and then realize, wait, that's dumb. Let's actually play basketball for the last 5 minutes.
Yeah, I don't know how these coaches get jobs. Tyronn Lue, Stan Van Gundy. I legitimately think I could do a better job. Allen Iverson, come step on me. You're invited to 209 Kent Street.
I think also shout out to shouting out your address. I like that. But I think the future of NBA coaching is just the players being like, that guy's my friend. Let's let him coach us. It's just like, that's why Steve Nash got the job. Just picking guys that you're homies with.
Absolutely. So that's my idea. I'm in school, right? So I'm going to work my way into the Kevin Durant organization. He wrote up, there was a big New York Times profile about his business. So I'm going to go work for Durant. I'm going to suck up to him. I'm going to be the next coach of the Brooklyn Nets.
Durant seems like the kind of guy that you just kind of like networked and sucked up to him a lot. Like in a way that a regular person would see through it. I don't think he would. I think he would actually buy in and then be like, Joel, actually, you're my boy.
Oh, damn. Someone loves the Lion shirt. Well, that I can tell you're not smelling it. We are talking a little gambling here today. Lions over 5 wins. Book that shit. They got the best offensive line in the NFL. Boom. Go Kitties. Shit. Sorry, Dan. I've got that rare type of autism where I only care about the worst franchise in professional sports.
I don't know. I'm a Raiders fan, so I'm not too far behind.
I went to the Lions played the Raiders on my 21st birthday, actually. It was incredible. It was in Oakland, Calvin Johnson's first game. And
you went to Oakland?
Oh, yeah, of course. Nice. I got drunk as hell. I got so many beer bottles thrown at me.
Yep.
There was this overweight Hispanic woman. Every time the Raiders got a first down, she'd grind on me.
Yep.
And someone threw a beer bottle. It missed me. It hit a kid. And then they got in a fist fight around me. So really a great time.
It's par for the course. Sounds about right. And then I don't know if you drove there. You got to hop back on the BART in that tunnel. That's where the shenanigans really start going on.
Yeah, I did drive there
Smart.
one of the scariest moments in my life. My bitch ass, I had a Lions Santa hat, a Lions balloon, and I walked into the Raiders parking lot, which that's a scary ass parking lot. Like,
Oh yeah. I mean, even just without the fear of getting attacked, just the concrete slab that is the Coliseum is kind of scary and shitty.
yeah, 100%. I had the balloon, and someone came up and they cut the balloon. And that's the best outcome you can have with someone approaching you with a blade in the Coliseum parking lot.
That's such like a whimsical form of bullying. That's like some children's book shit.
The Lion's Balloon. I think there was that French silent movie, like all the bitch ass teachers would make you watch.
Yeah.
One more series we got to talk about. Can the Sixers be the worst team to ever win the title?
Oh, the title?
I mean, if the Bucks win this series, if the Sixers take care of business, like they're just so poorly built, it kind of gives them matchup advantages.
I almost feel like it's a question: can the Sixers beat the Hawks?
Can the Sixers beat? That might be a better question.
Or the title.
Okay, I'll type that out. Can the Sixers beat the Hawks?
And I would still say yes, but the fact that this is a question is kind of concerning. I feel like every other team left, if Brooklyn was healthy especially, they might be better.
Yeah, and here's the deal. The most important thing in basketball is to create shots at the end of the game in the postseason. The Sixers cannot do that. The Bucks cannot do that. And they're pretty good at every other thing.
Yeah, and like not to sound like, a fucking big old Shaq over here, but sometimes I'm wondering, like, what is Embiid doing? He's like taking these weird tough shots. Like, why doesn't he just go full Shaq mode? All I'm saying is, I don't always agree with Shaq, but Embiid, sometimes he's just got to go in there, man.
Yeah, and especially with a meniscus injury. I've had a couple meniscus injuries. I've won 2 titles with torn meniscus. That's not how you do it.
I will say this: if you were in Embiid's body, the Sixers would be a better team.
100%.
You cherish that contact, and you get that look in your eye that you're going to the hole.
I did have a nice game this Saturday. Ooh, we've got a question from Patrick Williams, who is, I believe, small forward for the Chicago Bulls. Thanks for hanging with us, Patrick. Suns versus Hawks, the most interesting potential championship series. Not if you're Adam Silver. An executive like him, it would be like the Great Depression. He'd jump off the building. His bald head would be careening down. Like, that's some very small markets.
I was going to say Patrick Williams sounds like one of those, like, if you simulate 2K long enough and they start making new players, like Patrick Williams would be for sure a small forward.
I do think that is an interesting championship series. It's just because the Hawks are so weird. They're so anonymous. And those are the 2 best examples of team building. Like, those
Think
guys.
of the Trae Young hype if the Hawks made it to the finals. Like, Trae Young would instantly, people would be like, Luka isn't as good. And the narrative would flip so dramatically, I think, even if they got blown out.
100%. I mean, it's kind of flipping right now. And like, he's so lucky that Trae, he's kind of distinct looking. He's very memorable. His game is different. Like, John Collins is absolutely his equal. He's just got the most anonymous name. Like, if his name was like Pascal Siakam, they would be on the same level.
Yeah, Trey's like a fun, cool name. It's fun to say. It's fun to type out. John Collins is like, that's another NBA creative player. That's not a real guy.
Yeah, I mean, John Collins and Patrick Williams, they're brothers. And the only time people knew John Collins before his amazing game yesterday, that lot of fun highlights, was that dunk contest debacle where he missed like 40 of them in a row.
Oh, yeah. The Hawks are a fun team, though. I like their little duo, like, the redhead white guy and the not redhead white guy, Bogdanovich and Hoarder. Like, they're fun. Trae Young, that's a fun little backcourt right there.
And I think maybe the most fun, most interesting potential championship series is actually Jazz versus Hawks, because you got Bogdanovich versus Bogdanovich, and they hate each other.
I think anything involving the Jazz is just boring instantly. Like, I'll take Suns, Clips, any of those teams.
Yeah, I do. If there were ever like an HBO package where you could pay like $100 to listen to uncensored audio, like just hearing what the Utah fans are going to say to Kawhi tomorrow night would be
Oh, yeah.
incredible.
But now that I think about it, I think Suns Hawks, that would be the most interesting, I think, because I think Jazz are boring. Clips, it's like, okay, I've seen these guys. I don't really care. Sixers, Bucks, both, I don't know. Hawks are just a fun, interesting team.
Yeah, and nobody's thought about the Hawks in a million years. Yeah. It'd be fun to see.
Except for like Ludacris.
Yeah, and they're starting to pack it out. Like you saw Fat Chris Tucker on the sidelines.
Oh, yeah.
So there were a lot of people in the arena. But are you hammering the Sixers series price? I'm hammering the Sixers.
I don't know. What are the odds on that?
It's about even right now.
Even. Okay.
Yeah.
Damn, I might take the Hawks on that. I don't know.
All right, well you got it right here. I will be your casino for that one. You can lay it out
right
here. All right. Well, anything you want to touch on before we get out of here? I think we've got a Barclays Center to get down to.
Yeah. Well, actually, it's a late tip, so I'm probably going to sit around, just probably just stare at my phone for about an hour, and then hop on the train, get to Manhattan, and go to Barclays.
Well, if you want to stare at Dan staring at his phone, check him out on Twitter, Real Dan Yang. He's one of the only 5 funny people on there, so give him a follow. He's legitimately like a great joke writer and a dumbass.
It's better than whatever you heard here, guys.
Yeah. So this was a fun JUBS. Thanks to our boy Dan Yang. Thanks to our boy KD for giving us some bullshit stories to talk about. And thanks to all of you guys for hanging out, watching. I'll be back sometime over the weekend with another JUBS, Joel's Untitled Basketball Show. Until then, this is Joel Walkowski walking off. Oh, I can't do that. I'm behind the couch today.
JUBS, baby.